Gaza Civil Defense Agency has said that Israel's strikes killed 16 people today across the territory. Dozens of people have also been wounded in the strikes, which mainly hit the center and the south of the territory. Meanwhile, for the first time in more than 2 months, humanitarian aid is trickling back into Gaza, but United Nations officials warn the limited supplies nowhere near enough to avert the deepening humanitarian catastrophe. Over 90 trucks carrying flour, baby supplements, and other basics entered southern Gaza, the first aid delivery since Israel imposed a total blockade on March 2nd. Officials say more trucks are expected today, but aid agencies warn that volume and access remain insufficient. The United Nations says 80% of Gaza is now under evacuation orders or militarized zones, pushing millions into overcrowded shelters amidst severe shortages of food, clean water, medicine, and fuel. The World Health Organization has said that Gaza's health system is at breaking point. The head of the World Health Organization has made an emotional plea for Israel to show mercy, saying peace is in Israel's own interest. WHO officials report that only 19 of Gaza's 36 hospitals remain operational, most under extreme conditions. Multiple facilities have been struck or forced to shut down in recent days. Multiple deaths have been reported following a fearful plane crash in a San Diego neighborhood, with at least 6 fatalities reported through the exact that toll has not been confirmed. The Cessna 550 crashed into a residential area, causing massive destruction. Debris from the wreckage hit at least 10 homes, while vehicles lining the street were engulfed in flames. The crash, which occurred in a neighborhood home to military families, sent burning jet fuel across the area. San Diego Fire Department Assistant Chief Dan Eddy reported that one house had been severely damaged, but fortunately no one on the ground suffered serious injuries. Authorities are still working to determine the full scope of this incident. Let's listen in to what he has said.
Accurate that multiple people believe we have multiple fatalities. From what we've found so far and seen, we do believe we have multiple fatalities, but we're going to have to go through and take our time and ensure that exactly what we have.
Neighbors made a harrowing escape from flames early Thursday after a plane crashed into the Murphy Canyon military housing community. Residents rushed door to door. Local officials praised the community's swift response during the crisis. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. Let us listen to what the public information officer from the emergency services had to say.
Entonces, poquito antes de las 4 de la mañana fue cuando recibimos la llamada de lo que ocurrió aquí. Entonces, al llegar los bomberos, los rescatistas encontraron el impacto aquí de la avioneta en la casa y en varios vehículos aquí por la calle. Estaban todos en fuego, las llamas y el olor al combustible, como estás viendo.
The crash, which tragically claimed the lives of the music talent agent and several others on the flight, sent shockwaves through the neighborhood of U.S. Navy-owned housing. The impact caused a home to burst into flames, with half a dozen vehicles also igniting. Let us listen to a resident's account of what happened that night.
Yeah, at first I thought, I wasn't sure. The initial one, I'm like, is there a bomb? Something happened, and then there was one initially, and I'm like, is that a gunshot? And then once it just started happening one after another, there was about maybe 4 to 5 when I was upstairs. And by the time I came down here, I wasn't keeping count. You were just hearing random explosions. And now that I see, it was the cars exploding. So.
We now move to Middle East. An Israeli airstrike has hit a building in southern Lebanon after Israel's military warned residents to evacuate areas connected to Hezbollah. Despite a ceasefire agreement reached last November to halt over a year of hostilities, Israel has continued its airstrikes on Lebanon. While the Israeli military did not confirm the airstrike on the southern town of Toul, it reported carrying out multiple attacks on Hezbollah targets, including the killing of one militant. Lebanon's national news agency reported that Israel struck a building in Toul. where the military had issued an evacuation warning for people living within a 500-meter radius, indicating the area's connection to Hezbollah. Israel's warning, broadcasted in Arabic, urged residents to evacuate immediately, citing nearby Hezbollah facilities. No immediate reports of casualties have emerged from the strike in Toul. In a separate operation, the Israeli military said it had targeted and eliminated a Hezbollah militant from the Radwan force in the nearby Rabel Talathin area, located about 17 kilometers southeast of Toul. The new national news agency reported a martyr from another airstrike in the same region, but did not specify their identity. Additionally, Israel's forces struck several Hezbollah military sites, including weapons storage and rocket launchers in the Bekaa Valley and southern Lebanon. The military insists these actions are a response to violations of the November ceasefire, which called for Hezbollah to withdraw north of the Litani River and dismantle military infrastructure in the south. Israel, in turn, was expected to pull out its troops, although it has maintained forces in 5 areas it considers strategic. Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam condemned the Israeli airstrikes, calling them repeated aggressions against Lebanon at a critical moment, as municipal elections are set to take place in the south. Despite the surge in Israeli strikes, Hezbollah leader Naim Qassem urged supporters to go out and vote, aiming for a resounding victory in the upcoming elections. And we stay in the Middle East. Israel's military says it intercepted 2 missiles fired from Yemen, as sirens sounded across the country, including in Jerusalem and the West Bank. Houthi military spokesperson claimed responsibility, saying the group launched a ballistic missile towards Israel's Ben Gurion airport and 2 drones aimed at the Tel Aviv area. The Houthis vow to continue targeting Israel. They say their attacks are in solidarity with Palestinians in Gaza.
نفذت القوة الصاروخية في القوات المسلحة اليمنية عملية عسكرية نوعية استهدفت مطار اللد المسمى إسرائيليا مطار بن غوريون في منطقة يافا المحتلة، وذلك بصاروخ باليستي فرط صوتي، وقد حقق الصاروخ هدفه بنجاح بفضل الله، وأجبر ملايين الصهاينة المحتلين على الهروع إلى الملاجئ ووقف حركة الملاحة في المطار، وأجبر الرحلات المتجهة إلى المطار على إعادة أدراجها باتجاه الوجهات التي قدمت منها، وتعد هذه العملية هي الثانية.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said his country is ready to hold the next round of talks to end the war as soon as possible, but adds that Russia lacks a similar level of readiness. Also, Zelensky announced that he held a meeting to prepare for a 1,000-for-1,000 prisoner exchange with Russia. Let's listen in to what Zelensky had to say regarding future talks to end this conflict with Russia.
Також ми обговорили військову основу дипломатії, наступної технічної зустрічі. Ми працюємо, щоб зустріч відбулася якнайшвидше. Наш український інтерес – не затягувати війну, але бути готовими до будь-якого розвитку ситуації. Світові очевидно, що саме Росія винна, що війна досі триває. Україна готова до максимально швидких кроків, реального припинення вогню і встановлення нової архітектури безпеки.
Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin claims he has ordered the military to create a security buffer zone along Russia's border with Ukraine. Putin says the zone would stretch across the Kursk, Bryansk, and Belgorod regions, a move that Ukraine's foreign ministry calls further proof that Russia is not interested in peace. Ukrainian officials say the buffer zone should be confined to Russian territory and that Putin's statements undermine efforts to achieve a ceasefire.